All right, just in, we do have a tornado warning active right now. This is for parts of central Transylvania County, into parts of Hendersonville, Jackson County, and Haywood County. So we've been tracking this line of strong storms that have been moving across the mountains, still holding together enough to where that has prompted this tornado warning. Again, this is active tornado warning. If you are within Transylvania, Henderson, Jackson, and Haywood County, especially in the line of this storm, you need to take shelter immediately. Going to take a closer look in right now and see exactly where the worst of this storm is. And this is exactly where we're seeing it. Again, this tornado warning is active right now. This is through 5:30 this morning. It's located 9 miles south of Waynesville. This is now pushing towards, or it's pushing towards the east very quickly at this particular point right now. So let's get an active track here and pinpoint exactly where the storm is. So we put our tracker on here, pushing primarily east. Let's get it going. There we go, primarily east fairly quickly. We've got Crusoe at 452, 501, Big East Fork. We also have parts of the Mills River, 5:24 a.m. That is exactly where this line of not only strong storms, but where there possibly is a radar indicated tornado in this particular line. Again, it's pushing primarily towards the east-southeast. We'll get you a fresh look at the radar right now, because this is an active tornado warning at this point. Still for Jackson County, parts of southern Haywood County, Henderson County, and Transylvania. So we'll put a few more towns on here. We'll keep it in loop so you can see exactly the track that it is actually going right now. Again, this is an active tornado warning. You need to find your safe spot if you are under this radar indicated tornado warning. This is through 5:30 Saturday morning. So it is in fact in place through the next 40 minutes. At this particular point, it's moving very fast. We've seen quite the wind speeds with this. Right now, there is that potential that we could see some hail associated with it. Was seeing some indications of that within the last 30 minutes with the same line of storms. It is located 10 miles south of Waynesville. And again, it is tracking very quickly towards the east and southeast. So we'll put a fresh track on it right now and pinpoint exactly where the worst of this storm is. So this active tornado warning, the worst of this, pushing towards the east-southeast here. We've got Etowah at 516, Brevard 520, Stony Mountain Rest Home also at 520. So that is the latest track of this particular storm here. We've got it moving primarily east at 35 miles per hour. So it is moving at a very quick pace here, which is good and bad in the sense that it's in and out of here quickly, but it has a lot of wind energy. So with that in mind, we're looking at strong damaging wind gusts. We're also looking at a lot of lightning associated with this, but it's moving so fast here. It's got a lot of energy. Let's take a look if we're seeing any wind shear. So yes, that's exactly where we are seeing some wind shear. So let's put exactly, so if you know where Rich Mountain is, that is very close to where we are seeing some rotation indicated here. Let's see, pull it out a little bit here. Here we go. So to the south of Waynesville, again, east of Rich Mountain, that's where we are seeing this radar indicated rotation at this particular point. I'll go back and put a track on the latest track that we're seeing right now. We have still very strong storms moving across western North Carolina, and as they have been moving across the mountains, it has been just enough to where it's created enough energy and enough rotation that has in fact prompted this tornado warning. So I'm going to continue zooming in, tracking it, giving you the latest timing of this tornado warning and where it is right now. So this tornado warning still active until 5:30 this morning. And let's see, here we go. Yes, there we go. So tornado warning, 5:30 this morning, still active. It is pushing to the east at about 35 miles per hour. I'll take the lightning off so you can more easily see exactly where this warning is, and we'll put a fresh track on it. Again, if you are under this tornado warning, you need to seek shelter immediately. Areas near Mills River, 5:12 this morning, Stony Mountain Rest Home, 5:22, and Brevard at 5:24. This is the latest track that I am seeing with this. And again, we are seeing quite a bit of rotation, at least based off of some of the tools that I've had here. I've been able to analyze this rotation a little bit more. Near Rich Mountain, if you know where Rich Mountain is, that's where we are seeing the worst of the rotation, is just to the east of Rich Mountain. But we are watching several areas that are starting to see still a good amount of rotation, enough that is keeping this tornado warning active for the time being. This is active until 5:30 this morning. So you need to find your safe spot immediately. And again, just to kind of zoom out, look at the big picture here. We are still looking at those very strong storms working across parts of western North Carolina right now. And they are coming with a lot of energy. It's also coming with a lot of wind. So it's enough to have prompted this tornado warning because it is showing some radar indicated rotation. Now, again, this is for parts of southern Haywood County, Jackson County, Henderson County, and central Transylvania County at this point. Active tornado warning in parts of western North Carolina through 5:30 this morning. So I'm still seeing the energy there. I'm still seeing the rotation there, at least for the time being. We'll get a fresh track on this and see how fast it's moving. I will say it is moving very fast, which again is good news in the sense that it's in and out of here quick, but it also comes with a lot of energy. So we are keeping a close eye on it. It's moving primarily towards the east at about 35 miles per hour. So Mills River, 5:11 this morning. This is where you were likely going to see some of this energy continue to hold together through that point. Oak Hill Court, 5:11, Stony Mountain Rest Home, 5:21, and Etowah, 5:23. Now this is the northern part of this tornado warning. We'll get an active track on more the southern part now, because there's a couple different things I'm watching underneath this tornado warning. So as we take a closer look at some of those areas pushing closer towards Brevard here, we've got Charlie Creek School. If you know where that is, 5:01 this morning. You've got a few minutes to get to your safe spot. Etowah, 5:28. Still have a little bit of time, but I will say this is moving in very quickly. So go ahead and find your safe spot. You need to put as many walls between you and the outside as you possibly can to remain safe until this active tornado warning has since expired. We still have about 33 minutes or so until the warning doesn't expire. So you need to find your safe spot. Hendersonville, you're also in the line of this. You've got a little bit more time, 5:41. That's where we will potentially see that hold together until that particular point, if this tornado warning is in fact still together within the next 35 to 40 minutes. Let's get a fresh look at everything. Earlier I had put on the rotation. Still seeing some rotation indicated here. This is our wind shear value that we look at a lot. This is primarily to the east of Rich Mountain at this point, where you're seeing these kind of blue blobs. That is where we are watching some pretty strong rotation for the time being. I'll take a big picture here. We've got a very strong line of storms moving through the mountains at this point. I'm hopeful that it will begin to weaken here within the next hour or so, but it is still very much together, and it has still kept this tornado warning in place for the time being. Looking at the latest line right now, it is moving very quickly, primarily towards the east at about 35 miles per hour. Notice a lot of lightning is also associated with it. There's a lot of energy as well as it works across the mountains. So as of right now, we still do have one active tornado warning. We'll zoom in a little bit closer here, very close to Brevard at this point. I will pause it here to make it a little bit easier to see and take off the lightning here, but we are watching quite a few areas that are in fact showing that rotation, where you're seeing some of this, we call them more wonky lines here, squiggle lines. That's where we are potentially seeing a little bit more of the rotation. So as of right now, pushing towards the east at about 35 miles per hour. Areas near Wolf Ford, 503, you've got about 4 minutes to get to your safe space. Mills River, 517, Etowah, 522, Mountain Sanitarium, 525. So if you are in those areas or near those areas, seek shelter immediately. This tornado warning is in fact active until 5:30 this morning. So we are still continuing to track this. We will be on and walk you through until this warning does expire. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Peyton right now as I analyze a little bit more data and get the latest information for y'all at this point.
Sydney, we appreciate you and all of your guidance throughout all of this. Hey, good morning. If you're listening to us right now, especially if you're in the western North Carolina area, Henderson County, Yadkin County, Transylvania County, good morning. It's time to turn up the TV and go to your safe space. That could be a closet, that could be a bathroom, any room without a window. Now, a few things you need to know. In the event of a tornado warning, which we are seeing in some of those areas, seek safety immediately. We're not messing around about this. If you're inside, go to an interior room with no windows. That way nothing can come through the windows. If you're outside, try to get to a basement, try to get to a nearby sturdy building. Lie flat in a ditch or a low-lying area. Lie flat, protect your head and your neck with your hands. If you're in a car, if you're in a mobile home, get out immediately. Head for safety. Try to find a sturdy building. Do not try to outrun this tornado with your car. I'll tell you this much, you will not outrun it. You cannot outrun a tornado. Automobiles can be tossed around by high winds, and we know about high winds. We've seen this storm go through other parts of the country yesterday. We know it leveled buildings in St. Louis. We know it killed people, it injured people in other parts of the country throughout Friday. So this is a powerful storm. You're going to want to get to your safe space immediately. After this storm passes, make sure you're watching for fallen power lines. Stay on the lookout for damaged areas and stay tuned to WYFF4 or our weather alert radio for information and instructions. We're going to get you the up-to-date information. But again, this was in the Henderson County area as of last check, the Transylvania County area, the Yadkin County, all of those areas are under this warning. You're going to want to get to your safe space immediately. And I know one person is keeping track of all of this for us. She's looking at all of this weather. Sydney Sullivan is here in the studio. Sydney, tell us exactly what we need to be aware of right now.
Thanks, Peyton, for keeping everyone informed on those safe spots and those areas that are in fact under that tornado warning. We are still actively watching this tornado warning. Like Peyton was saying, this is a part of a much bigger system. It was one that brought a lot of severe weather to parts of St. Louis, for instance. I've seen some of the images that have come out of that. So do keep that in mind. If you are under this tornado warning, find your safe spot. Get to the most interior spot of your house and lowest level. That is going to be key here in this particular scenario. So looking at the picture right now, active tornado warning still in parts of western North Carolina. We've got central Transylvania County, Henderson County, Jackson County, and southeastern Haywood County. Now, initially this storm was located about 9 miles south of Waynesville. As of right now, it's still pushing to the south of Waynesville, but it's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So as we take a closer look in right now, let's really analyze the data here. Let's track this system and let's see exactly where it's headed. Right now, you can see, I'll pause it here, I'll take off the lightning, and get the latest track on this. It is approaching Brevard here very quickly. So areas near Brevard, you still have a few minutes, but you are still under this tornado warning. So as we put a track on it right now, let's push it towards the east here. We've got Transylvania Community Hospital near there at 5:13 this morning, Etowah 5:17. Those are areas that we're watching right now. So you still have a few minutes to get to your safe spot. But this is still a very active tornado warning. We've seen a lot of wind energy associated with it. This does still go until 5:30 this morning. And just to look at the big picture here, very strong line of storms moving through Tennessee, out of Tennessee, and now pushing into parts of western North Carolina. Enough energy associated with it that it has prompted that tornado warning. So still very active at this point. We will continue to give you fresh tracks on this so you know exactly where it's going. It is moving very fast at this particular point. So with latest track here, we'll go with this area pushing towards the east primarily at 35 miles per hour. 5:17, it will be moving through Brevard. So this moved up a couple of minutes. So keep that in mind. It's moving a little bit quicker now. Again, it's got a lot of energy associated with it. Near Laurel Park at 5:27 and Hendersonville 5:30. So if the warning does stay in place through 5:30, we will in fact see areas like Hendersonville underneath that warning. Still some time to see if it does weaken. For the time being, it's holding together. So we will continue to give you these fresh tracks. Let's take a closer look at the latest tornado warning, still till 5:30 at this point. And now it is located about 7 miles northwest of Brevard, or near Looking Glass, moving east still at about 35 miles per hour. So this is the latest update of this particular tornado warning. We'll continue to get a fresh track on here because again, it is pushing very closely to Brevard. We've got Etowah at 5:14, Bowman Bluff 5:19, and Valley Hill at 5:27. This is the latest track and the latest timing of this tornado warning. It goes till 5:30 today. Still keeping an update on the National Weather Service. Haven't gotten any new information, but they have continued to trim and fine tune this particular tornado warning as it continues working eastward at about 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to take an even closer look in here, get us as close to ground level here or street level as we possibly can. Wolf Ford, Brevard, again, that's an area that it will be approaching you very soon here. Let's see if we can get a few more towns here. We've got, it's still pushing east at about 35 miles per hour. Let's see, new severe thunderstorm warning downstream will include parts of Greenville and Spartanburg County. So with that in mind, that means that they aren't necessarily keeping a tornado warning for those areas, at least for the time being. We still have an active tornado warning, but at least downstream of this, they're just keeping a severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll need to watch this as it does start to push a little bit further towards the east and southeast. But as of right now, still including Brevard within this warning. It's on the cusp here. So again, as it approaches Brevard, those are going to be areas that we're keeping a close eye on as it pushes primarily towards the east and southeast. So as you can see, it's moving very fast at this point. Let's go to the cusp of the warning as it pushes east-southeast here. We've got Transylvania Community Hospital 5:11. We've got Davidson River 5:14, and then again Brevard is not too far off from this particular warning. Let's see if we have any new information right now. Not getting anything new out of the National Weather Service, just that they are continuing the warning for the time being. Just to reorient you as you look at the big picture here right now, most of the upstate northeast Georgia good to go for the time being. We have a strong line of thunderstorms that are working through western North Carolina. Here's the even bigger picture. All of that system is moving through Tennessee and moving into the mountains, which has in fact prompted that tornado warning across parts of western North Carolina. We'll take another closer look in right now and get the latest timing, a fresh track on here. And then once we get a fresh track, we'll send it over to Peyton while I analyze a little bit more. But let's get a fresh track first. And again, if you are within this tornado warning, you need to find your safe spot immediately. Lowest level of your house, most interior spot that you can find. So Etowah, 517, Omen Bluff, 521, Indian Cave Park at 526. Now this warning does remain in place until 5:30 this morning. I'm going to look at some fresh data. It looks like we might be getting some new updates from the National Weather Service. Pass it over to Peyton and then we'll get you a new fresh track here in just a moment.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sydney. And hey, if you're joining us this morning with Channel 4, there is a tornado warning in parts of western North Carolina. We're bringing you the latest information. But if you're in Transylvania County, if you're in Henderson County, you really need to be paying attention to this. Here's what we know so far. We know that this line of storms is coming in from the Midwest. We saw it level buildings in parts of the area, specifically in parts of St. Louis. We also saw it in other states. Right now, we have an active tornado warning in the Brevard and Crusoe area in North Carolina. That's going to be until about 5:30, according to the National Weather Service here at GSP. A few other things we know so far. Sydney Sullivan has told us these storms are moving incredibly fast, 35 miles an hour. You can probably see it as we go through some of these graphics. Yeah. Whew, look at that move. Yeah, it's coming in with those strong winds. Typically for an F0 tornado, that's a tornado with the lowest wind speeds. The slowest it's going to go is 40 miles an hour, and that's, again, the slowest. So a couple of things we need to be aware of. If there's a tornado warning, which there is, seek safety immediately. You're going to want to go inside. In my apartment, that's going to be my closet. That's going to be my bathroom, right? You're going to want to get to the safest area possible. That way, no flying objects will come in through your windows. A few other things for you to be aware of today. If you're outside, get inside now. Get inside to a basement, get inside to a low-lying area, lie flat, protect your head, your neck, your hands in a ditch if that's your last option, if that's your last resort. If you're in a car, if you're in a mobile home, you're going to want to get out of that and get to a safer location. These automobiles, when the winds are high enough, when they're strong enough, they can toss them around like confetti, basically. You're going to want to get to a much safer spot if that's an option. And hey, you're not going to be able to outrun this tornado. Tornadoes, again, go very, very quickly. 35 miles an hour just coming through our area, and there's no telling, because they're tornadoes, if they're going to pick up that speed at any point in time. If the storm passes, after this storm passes, we know that this tornado warning is going to expire, according to the National Weather Service, at 5:30 for the Brevard and Crusoe areas. Watch out for those fallen power lines. Stay out of damaged areas. Make sure you're calling 911 if there is a dangerous area. Stay tuned to us, WYFF4. We're going to get you the latest information. We've got Sydney Sullivan, our meteorologist, tracking all of that. You can also stay alert to our Weather Alert Radio for information and instructions. Hey, I've got family out there in western North Carolina. If you're listening, get to your safe space immediately. This is not a joke. This is Transylvania County. This is Henderson County, getting closer and closer to Brevard, Davidson River. You can see Wolf Ford right there, East Fork, Boylston Creek. Make sure you're getting to an inner room, staying away from those windows, staying away from those doors. Sydney Sullivan is keeping track of all of this. She's got the latest track for us as we speak. Sydney, can you tell us what we need to know?
Thank you, Peyton. Yes, still under this active tornado warning. We've got a little over 15 more minutes until this is expected to expire. As of right now, still active until 5:30. It is moving a little bit faster now with the latest update, moving east at about 4.
The National Weather Service Service in Greenville-Spartanburg has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for East Central Transylvania County in western North Carolina, Central Henderson County in western North Carolina, Polk County in western North Carolina, northeastern Greenville County in upstate South Carolina, northwestern Spartanburg County in upstate South Carolina, until 5:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 5:06 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located near Brevard, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Source, radar indicated. Impact, minor hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to trees and power lines. Locations impacted include Mill Spring, Lake Bowen, Landrum, Horseshoe, North Saluda Reservoir, Penrose, Glassy Mountain, Crab Creek, Etowah, and Inlet. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Please report damaging wind, hail, or flooding to the National Weather Service by calling toll-free 1-800-267-8101 or by posting on our Facebook page or tweet it using hashtag NWSGSP. Your message should describe the event and the specific location where it occurred. Repeating, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 5:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the following counties in North Carolina, Henderson, Polk, and Transylvania, and the following counties in South Carolina, Greenville, and Spartanburg.
So this it was initially located about 7 miles northwest of Brevard near Looking Glass. Now it's pushing again east very quickly at this point. So we'll get you a fresh track on here and walk you through the exact areas that really are in the, at least the initial line of this storm here, pushing towards the east at about 45 miles per hour. We've got 518 Davidson River. We have Etowah at 524. Again, this is still lining up with the timing that we've been watching the last few minutes. They are still analyzing whether or not they will continue the warning through 5:30 this morning. As of right now, they are, and we'll let you know if anything changes with that. Let's take a closer look in right now and fine-tune some of these areas here. So North Brevard still in the clear for the time being. Technically you are under the tornado warning, but you still have a few moments to seek shelter in those spots there. Davidson River, if you're near there though, we are starting to see the initial lines of that. And I just got word in from the National Weather Service. They are going to cancel this warning here any minute. We will continue to walk you through until that happens, but for the time being, we still do have an active tornado warning. They are expected to cancel it here any minute. We will update you when that does happen. We've been watching a very strong line of storms moving across western North Carolina. In fact, it's been really the whole thing we've been watching all throughout the last 24 hours or so. Parts of St. Louis, a very big system, has worked across our region. Fortunately, starting to weaken as it works across the mountains. Generally, the mountains are really good with that. It'll help to kind of shake up the system a little bit more. However, we have the perfect conditions in place that have prompted that tornado warning. Still active for the time being. They are about to cancel it. Until they do so, we will continue to walk you through. We're watching this line of storms move across western North Carolina, moving through parts of Transylvania County and the southernmost part of western North Carolina. Again, there it goes. It looks like the warning has officially been canceled at this point. So we'll just zoom it back out to give you the full picture. We are now officially in our 5 o'clock hour, and we'll start to get back to our normal broadcast here any second. And again, we will continue to track these storms, and if anything happens or we get any extended warnings or anything along those lines, we will continue to keep you posted. But thank you for staying with us, and this is going to be a feisty line of storms over the next couple of hours, so we will keep you posted. Peyton?
Sydney, we really appreciate you tracking that this morning. Hey, just a reminder that today, if in the event of a tornado warning, you're always going to want to seek safety immediately. If you're inside, go to an interior room with no windows, no doors. That way you can be protected from any glass or other flying objects. A few other things to know: if you're outside, try to get inside immediately. If you can't do that, get to a nearby building. But if you can't do that, get to a ditch or a low-lying area. Lie flat. Protect your head and your neck with your hands, the most important parts of your body. If you're in an automobile, if you're in a car, if you're in a mobile home, try to get to a more stable building. Those things, especially cars, they can be tossed around by heavy winds. You're going to want to get to a safer area. And after this storm passes, make sure to watch out for fallen power lines. Stay out of any damaged areas. And hey, stay tuned to WYFF4 Me TV, WYFF 4.2, or the Weather Alert Radio for information and instructions. We thank you so much for staying with us this morning, and we hope that you and your family and your loved ones are safe today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get